Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
And Eddie, you and Gisela will be chatting for 10 minutes. Gisela, he prefers English. And you
Of
can
course.
begin.
Or Spanglish.
Go. And yeah, we can do that. Hi, nice to meet you, Gisela Orozco from Chicago, your hometown.
Love it.
We will talk about that later. But
Yes.
first, let's talk about the experience of being in the movie, because I was just telling the PR that you have a cameo in the movie, and she was like, no, he just done doing the behind the scenes. I'm like, no, right?
Right.
You can tell that I saw the movie already.
Yes. Good for you. You know what? The producers called me. He says, "Okay, Eddie, so we're doing this next film because I'm on my way to do another movie with Jason on his next project." And he goes, "And then you're gonna get another part." And I go, "Oh, okay, another part." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "We want you in front of the camera." So I'm very pleased about that. Yeah.
Let's talk about the experience, your experience at the Beekeeper. Tell me more about how do you start. Of course, you have this relationship, you have this amazing career in Hollywood, but what was so special about this project in particular for you?
Well, first of all, this project itself, when I read the script, I love it because the whole plot of it is what's happening right now.
Exactly.
I mean, people are taken advantage and with these scammers and everything else. And believe me, I remember back in the day, I got scammed for downloading an app that never needed it, you know? So to me, I loved the script and I was like, yes, finally we got a hero that's going to stop this. Or even more, it's going to bring it out to the public to say, let's not fall for these scammers. So I was in on it right off the bat, plus with the action, plus David. David is our director, does a lot of action films himself. I've done already 7 movies with Jason Statham, so I already know what we're getting into because I know that his physical ability is going to make my even shine even more because he's physical, he remembers things, he's choreographed, he's very coordinated, and he always wants more, you know. So that's to me as a coordinator, I strive on that stuff. So I'm like, let's do it, you know.
For every project, you have like a particular, like the schedule time, the preparation time. How was it for this one in particular? When do you have to start working with Jason? How's that for us that we don't know nothing about, and the public that doesn't know nothing about that? How's that work?
Well, I have a partner, Jeremy Marinas, who's a well-known person. He's done John Wicks and all the fights, and he always had inputs on it. So with me and Jeremy, we've known each other for many years. We got together. Jeremy came up with some of the actions after reading it, and then we collaborated together to add more. And then once we start shooting previs, which is we're looking at about a month and a half advance before we start doing principal shooting. And this way we have time to have Jason look at it and our director David to look at it to get their input. And what was great, it was that everything we did, they loved. If anything, we added more to it. And so once we get the previews approved, then we're out at the location, which we were in London in the UK, and then we start training with Jason himself. And then Jason just keeps on going. When he feels comfortable, then he's ready. We're ready to shoot it. He knows when we're going to shoot it at what day, so he really puts himself into that for that whole scene, and he just goes over it and over and over and over it, and he's ready. I mean, not once that we had to wait for him. He was always there, and his balance, the way he works is just that he's ready to shoot action, and he wants more, and that's all I need to hear. So he did a great job as you see it in on the big screen.
And besides that, like, what's like the training, your discipline, your routine? Because in this case, apply, because it's a lot of energy, a lot of preparation. So how do you prepare for this behind the scenes, behind when you started, like since home, since the first, since you wake up? Because to me, it's interesting.
Yes, well, I'm going to do Jason's next movie in London again, and we don't start shooting until April. I've been already on this for like a month already, just breaking down the script, breaking down the action, coming up with ideas, combining it with my other halves that I need, the performers and stunt performers, that then we start collaborating what is good for the scene. So, even though I don't start shooting until April, I've been already working for a month already, so then eventually we have a time period that we call previs and rehearsals. So then we'll be out in UK and we'll be working with Jason and training him on some of the choreographed fights that we put together. And it's always, we have our ups and downs, but we're always going full stride to get more action.
Eddie, I would love to know more about your personal story, your connection to Chicago. How is like the Mexican American boy, I don't know from what barrio, from Chicago, is now in Hollywood doing this? This is like an amazing example of what it's accomplishable here.
You know what? Sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice in my, I've been doing this business for over 35 years. When I started, I was still in high school, and I was a kickboxer.
What high school? What high school?
I went to my high school was Addison Trail. It's the suburbs right off Chicago. And then I was pretty good with all the sports. I was wrestler, football player, track and field, everything else. Athletic wise, I was, average or above. And then I got, since I was 9, I was into martial arts. And that, got me where I'm at, it helped me coordinate and balance just a lot of things that we need in this business, to make things work. So, it was just funny. I got my friends were in the movies and they invited me, and then all of a sudden, I got offered to double this guy on a movie back in the day. And ever since then, it's just like that feeling that that's what you want to do in life, so it was a lot of training, a lot of sacrifice, throughout this whole years to get where I'm at. So it all pays off if you stick with it.
It was like an audition here in Chicago, or you just like they scout find you? How was that?
It was an audition,
mm-hmm.
And then they saw my physical ability to perform the stunted script on the script, and then from there it was just more like, hey, you know what? I have a look. They kept on using me, and from there I based out in Chicago for maybe 12 years, and then from there I went to Los Angeles, and that's where all the movies were happening. That's where everything was happening back in the day. And so I moved there for 20-something years. And in that 20-something years, I got to work with other people who are very talented and learning skills that I always wanted to learn. And I put my time into it. And in that process, I was able to now advance into coordinating action. And because I know what the directors want and what is going to look good in front of the screen. So here I am, now running some shows and some big actions, and I'm very happy about it. But even going in front of camera, I still love being in front of camera. So who knows, where it's going to take me.
An amazing story, because it's so important. It still is always relevant to talk on and show the Latino stories in Hollywood, but also not only in front of the camera, but the work that you do behind camera. As you mentioned, it's sacrifice, it's discipline, it's like having the opportunity.
Yes, a lot of training, because practice makes perfect, and if you're not rehearsing and sharpening up your skills, you're always going to be there. You're never going to be climbing the ladder. So there's a lot of sacrifice that you have to make, for yourself to get where you need to be.
And it's, of course, it's not an easy industry. Nothing is easy, but being there for more than 30 years, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's amazing. And I think that talks a lot about your discipline, your ability to conquer and do changes, to adapt yourself also to different situations.
Yeah, but you know what? I love it. You really got to love it to make it happen, and to me, I love action. When it gets your blood going and you get all the nerves going, That's something that, you know, you're right on the edge, but you're on the edge, but you feel confidence about yourself and what you're going to perform because you rehearse so many times, you practice so many times. So it makes your mind, your mental mind, easier to perform to the best, you know.
Having all these projects and also you're already preparing for the next one. Like, what's like the thing that you are like still like your next goal, the thing that you will love to achieve and do in Hollywood for Latinos, and also like an old man, like an old man show, because you are an old man show.
No, well, you know what? I'm still striving to be a director. So, you know, I'm learning more angles, camera side. You know, you got to learn what is being used to make that person or that action happen, and then you try to, you know, make it happen. When you get to the next show where they ask for your advice, you need to know, you know, what you need to make that action look great and look good, you know, as a performance. So I'm trying to be, you know, to me, I'm going, you know, I already did some second unit directing, but I'm trying to bring it up another level.
And talking about all your projects, there's always all of the projects is like like your kids. You love one and you love, of course, you're gonna love the other one, but one in particular that you will can tell like this one has this specific value, or I don't know, you remember that particular project for this thing, like the one that you can mention it.
There's many of them. There's so many of them because each one has its different it's a different subject. Like, you know, for action, when I was what I loved Fire was a Backdraft directed by Ron Howard. Loved the movie. And as everybody watched it, they all wanted to be firemen when they grew up. So when you have somebody like that, a movie like that, that they all know what they want to be because they saw it on screen, to me, that makes me feel good. You know, and then like with what's going on in the world, I did a movie Crash and won an Oscar and everything else. I played Officer Gomez in that. And to me, just to sit there as an actor to watch it, it meant a lot. You know, this is what's going on in the world, you know, and it's been going around in the world, but, you know, it meant a lot to me, you know. And then comedy wise, I did 22 Jump Street. I played Mexican Wolverine. And there you go. So, you know, there's movies, comedy, drama, action, and, you know, things, you know, they're all good, you know. So there is movies out there that I'm really proud of that I've done. And now The Beekeeper, because The Beekeeper has so much action, and which, you know, to me, people are going to be talking about it, and I could say I was part of it, and I, you know, helped create that movie, you know.
It's like a new genre, like the Beekeeper is like new genre because you have, of course, you have this action hero, but because it talks about this relevant topic and reality, I don't know, it gives you like a sense of responsibility for also for the elder people. Like, yes, this is happening. We need to watch out.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's, for me, that's the message of the movie.
Absolutely. When I got the script, when I received the script and read it, I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, this is what's been going on, but nobody's really been saying anything." Like I had an experience like 30 years ago that I got scammed on buying an app. You know,
you told me, yes.
computer. So to me, it was like, you know, how dare they? You know, money was tight then. You know, so that anger, and then thinking that what they could do to other people who are very vulnerable and older people, to me, I was like, yes, let's do this. Now we have a superhero who's going to take care of that. So at least we feel better to watch it. But again, it's an eye opener to let people know, you know, there's scammers out there, you know.
It's a way to start having this conversation that is so relevant, because it not only happened to elder people, it happens to even I got being scammed. Yeah. Because it's like so fast, because now it's everything on the computer. You can do everything on the apps. Like, yeah. And I think that we need to start having that conversation, having this amazing way to have it, to show it in action movie with Jason Statham doing this amazing action. The plot, everything is like, it's timing. It's always perfect and timing in every scene.
So we feel good by the end of the movie, like, yes, you know, so
exactly.
That's all we need. We need to
like
have the feeling.
Like we have a beekeeper, we have our hero.
Yes, we do. Yes. And we might have Beekeeper 2 coming. Yeah.
I can tell.
Ruined.
Eddie, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank you.
showing
Yeah,
and portraying Mexican Americans, all the way
thank you.
Latinos in Hollywood. Thank
Stay
you,
warm, Chicago.
as always. Take
Yes.
care. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you, guys.